Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining our diagnostic training session today. And what you're about to see is a pre-recorded training session we did over in the United States. But be assured that a lot of the material that we cover is really applicable to any automotive application. So just be aware that yes, it is a lot of North American vehicles, but they will apply a lot of the same principles apply over in the UK as well. Now, if you do have any questions, if you're watching this during the premiere, you can just leave it in the chat. We'll be monitoring live chat. If you're watching this after the premiere, then just feel free to leave a comment underneath the video and we'll get to those as we can as well. So my name is Jason Gabrinas. I'm one of Snap-on's diagnostic technical trainers. I've been in the training department since 2013, traveling around North America, helping techs and shop owners get the most out of their diagnostic equipment. Before I did that, it was a couple years as a diagnostic sales rep at Snap-on, so I had 30 different franchisees I worked with, as well as the shops that they serviced, in order to help everyone get the most out of their diagnostic needs. Then before I did that, it was 8 years at Subaru. So I worked in a dealership, and over time, I guess, just became the default diag guy in the shop. So I always ended up having the drivability problems, the intermittent problems, the weird wiring problems that would show up on those cars. And that's really where I cut my diagnostic teeth, was trying to figure out all those weird head scratcher type cars that would come into my bed. Then before that, a bunch of other miscellaneous wrenching jobs. Been a little over 25 years under hood experience for me. Our topic today is Security Link. Are you ready for the new OEM security protocols? And there are many coming down the road. There are many upcoming sooner than later, and there's also many that we're seeing on the horizon as we go forward over the next few years. So in order to talk about this, though, the first thing we want to do is we want to go back in time, back to the ripe time of 2015. So back in 2015, maybe even a little earlier than 2015, I'm not sure exactly how it all played out. But there were these hackers that were messing around with CAN bus messages and seeing what they could do to mess around with these cars. And now, if you don't know, there's two different types of hackers out there. So there's black hat hackers, that they call them. So that'd be the bad guys, right? So those are the ones who are trying to steal your credit card information or viruses and ransomware and all that. Then there's white hat hackers. And what they do is they go around trying to find vulnerabilities in software or hardware or whatever. And then when they do find a vulnerability, they let the manufacturer or the programmer or whoever created this know that, hey, you have a vulnerability here and you should probably take care of that. Now, sometimes some companies, like software companies especially, they'll even pay a bounty if they find, oh, there's this huge security breach in our software that could have been breached, but it wasn't. But these guys found it, so we're going to pay them X amount of dollars, whatever it happens to be, because they found that and we were able to fix it, right? So that's the kind of people that these hackers were. They were white hat hackers. They were the good guys, and they figured out that they could, if they knew the IP address of the radio in the vehicle that they were trying to control, they could remotely control it over the internet and just from anywhere. And they could send messages to the vehicle, and anything that's electronically controlled and on the CAN bus could be controlled by sending the right messages to the computers. So they figured this out and they told Chrysler. And as far as I can tell, that Chrysler was pretty much, whatever. It's not, they didn't consider it a big deal as far as I can tell. So these hackers decided, well, we want to get this information out there. And if they're not going to do anything about it, we're going to go public with it. So they hooked up with this magazine called Wired Magazine back in 2015. It was in the July issue. And what they were able to do is they had a reporter, driving this Jeep in a controlled environment. It was maybe like an abandoned parking lot or something like that. I don't 100% remember the details. But they were able to steer it and accelerate and brake and turn on the wipers and honk the horn and turn on the lights and everything. Ended up driving into a ditch, right? Just because, it's probably a lag time. These hackers, by the way, were, a mile or two down the road in a hotel somewhere, just sending these messages over the internet. So they were able to hack into this Jeep and remotely control it from, I don't know how far away, maybe a mile. So that's a problem. So with that, after that came out, a few days later, on July 16th of that year, Chrysler released an update for their radios that blocked that access. But the thing with that is, the only way that was able to be installed is the customer, the owner of the affected vehicle, would have to bring their vehicle to the dealership, because the update was on a USB stick. So they would have had to physically be in front of the vehicle, updated with the USB stick, and that would have patched that out. Not sure how many people would have gone and done that. I would imagine it can't be that high a number. This is just me speculating here, but I would imagine not a ton of people are going to make time out of their day to go to the dealer and just get an update on their radio. Especially if I don't know how it was presented to customers either, but I don't know. Not sure. I highly doubt the uptick was very much on that. But something obviously needed to be done. So in comes the secure vehicle gateway module. So this is on started on 18, a lot of 18 Chrysler Fiat type vehicles, and then 2019 pretty much and newer. They were all equipped with some sort of this module. Now it could be anywhere under the dash somewhere on the vehicle. But what it does is, we look at the wiring diagram here of the computer lines. Here's the OBD connector. So all the lines off the OBD connector, except for power and ground, all the communication lines are going to go into the secure gateway module. Also, the radio, any of the bus lines coming off the radio, there's 2 CAN buses on there. Any of the bus lines off the radio go into this gateway module first before anything is released out to the rest of the vehicle. That way, it's going to block it. It works as a firewall between the outside world and the rest of the vehicle. So if I don't have access to this system, if it's locked down, really all I can do pretty much just read codes and read data. I think you can clear like OBD2 codes, but the vehicle does not allow you to send a command to the vehicle. So bidirectional controls are out, programming's out, functional tests are out, all that stuff is out. Now, when I have it unlocked, after I've unlocked it, you can clear the codes just like you normally would. You can do functional tests, bidirectional control, just like you normally would on any normal vehicle. And then as well as resets, relearns, and calibrations, right? Those are becoming more and more prevalent and important nowadays. So you can do the resets, the relearns, ADAS calibrations, any sort of thing that you might need to do on these vehicles after repair, after the fact. Once that gateway is unlocked, it allows you that full access to the vehicle like you normally would have on a vehicle without this gateway. So how does it work? This is going to be kind of high level in a nutshell. This is essentially how most manufacturers have this done. I'm sure there's little differences between manufacturers, but at a high level, this is how it works. The scan tool is going to, first stop is going to be that gateway module because it's all the wires go to there first. So we're going to go into that gateway module, and that gateway module is going to say, okay, well, here's my secure ID. Sends it back to the scan tool. Scan tool then takes that secure ID, the tool's ID, so like the serial number, and any username and password that might be needed to log into some account. And then it sends it up to the server. If everything checks out, all the passwords and usernames and tool IDs and secure IDs, if everything's good, it's going to send an unlock code back down to the tool. And then the tool is going to talk to the module. It's going to say, here's my unlock code. And it'll say, all right, you're good. Pass on through. So it opens the gate. Right? It's like a locked gate. It's a gateway. So it's going to look something like this. And it doesn't take that long either. This is all in real time. So there's the numbers that are getting sent up, and then it's going to send the authorization back down. And there we go. Unlocked. Done. Easy. Takes just a few seconds if you're on, a decent internet connection. It'll only take a few seconds just to get that. Now, what if one of those things, any of those variables, and I know there's a lot of variables, we're going to talk through the different places where you need the information added into different accounts when we go live in here in a minute. But what if one of those things goes wrong? Something goes wrong. So still going to ping the modules. First thing it's going to do. Module's still going to send back the secure ID, maybe even the VIN. All that information gets sent up. If one of those things isn't where it needs to be, or if one of those things is incorrect, then it's going to say, nope, sorry, no authorization. It's going to send it back down, and it's going to send it to the module. The module is going to say, nope, sorry, buddy. Something is wrong, and you need to fix it. Now, luckily, the tool usually will tell you what portion of this is wrong, at least on a Snap-on tool. So in this case, let me back up here a little bit so we can get that screenshot. So it says authorization denied. Some diagnostic requests are locked by the vehicle manufacturer. Please make sure you've completed all the steps required to unlock the gateway or continue without unlocking the vehicle, because you can continue read codes and data, but you can't do much else. The unlock procedures available under the secure gateway system ensure the scanner has been added to your Snap-on profile. with OEM credentials added, and then you need to make sure you restart too. All right, so that's one possibility. Another possibility you might run into is here, the device is not associated with your profile. So it's to verify the device has been added to device management settings in your technician profile manager. We'll talk more about that in a minute. If the error persists, please go to snapon.com/security link for more information. You can also go yourself to snapon.com/security link to get all the information you need to do this too. So in this case, it says unable to retrieve device owner information. So that means the tool was not logged in to the account. So there's a couple different variables. Another one could be, well, what if I don't have Wi-Fi? So it's going to hook up. It's going to hook up to the car. It's going to send its secure ID back. It's going to try and load all that stuff up. But hey, since if my Wi-Fi is not connected, for some reason it's just not connected, it's not going to make it even up to the server, and it's just going to fail. So it's going to look something like this. So in this case, it didn't even try. Didn't even try to start a session because it knows it can already detect that there's no Wi-Fi detected on the tool. So you can see that down here on the bottom. No Wi-Fi. So it says Wi-Fi is required. Make sure Wi-Fi is on and you are connected to the internet. Now I get asked a lot when it comes to these types of things, because I know Chrysler's factory tool treats it one way. You kind of have to be tied to the Wi-Fi at all times. With our tools, with Snap-on tools, the only time you need to be on the internet is when you're connecting to the vehicle. So once that challenge and response comes back and it says unlocked on the screen, as long as you don't back out of the vehicle, as long as you don't log out of the vehicle, hit change vehicle button, you will be able to access that continually without having to worry about constant Wi-Fi connection. So it's like I can make my connection in the shop under Wi-Fi, and then I can go take it on a road test no matter what, and it should still stay open. So let's talk about manufacturer requirements. So as far as right now, the day I'm recording this, which is November 7th, 2023, I'm recording this live. As of right now, as of today, the only two vehicles that there's secure vehicle access for, or the only two makes that we cover as of right now, is going to be FCA US and Ford in the United States and Canada. Over in the UK, it's going to be FCA, Ford, and Nissan, which we're going to get to in a second. So as far as FCA is concerned, that's one we've been dealing with the longest. Guess it's Stellantis now, right? So you need to have current software. That is required by the OEM. That is not required by Snap-on. You have to have current software. The OEMs require that, right? And that's any scan tool on the market. If you want to access our secured systems, you have to have current software. You need to also have an internet connection, because otherwise you're not going to be able to ping the server with the numbers and information you need. And in the case of FCA, you need a third-party account. So you need auto-op. All right. So in that case, it's $50 a year in the US. And you can have up to 5 tools at a time registered with your account at the way it stands right now. Then the other one is Ford. So Ford, you need current software and an internet connection, and that's all you need. So there's no third party, there's no separate fee, there's none of that. It all gets done in the background. If you blink, you miss it half the time when it comes up on the screen. Now it says here on this slide, other manufacturers are coming soon, and it's very soon. Basically what it is we're waiting on those manufacturers to get all the paperwork straightened out, right? Its contracts are in hand and just, gets to go through legal and signatures and stuff. So we're like this close. So this class is going to happen again in 5 weeks. So in 5 weeks, I would venture to guess, based on information I've gotten from people who are knowledgeable on this situation, that we may be talking about some other manufacturers, basically Nissan. Because Nissan's already over in Europe. It's already been available for a little while over there. It's just they've been slow to bring it over to the US for I don't know what reason. But that is the next one. And then after that, you will also see Volkswagen should be at some point coming soon too. You may have seen those on the scan tool already. That's why I bring it up, because you're still going to see those messages that, hey, the gateway's locked, that sort of thing on Nissans and Volkswagens and Audi right now. So as of today, it's not on yet. We have to flip the switch. We're ready. Snap-on is ready. Everything's ready in the background. So the best thing for you to do as a Snap-on scan tool user, if you are a Snap-on scan tool user, is to make sure your tool is registered with your Snap-on account. Make sure everything's in the right place, so that way when we turn on these other manufacturers, You can just click a button, agree to the agreement, and then you're good to go. So other manufacturers are coming soon. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a second. So as far as FCA's US requirements, current software on the tool. And actually, that's anywhere in the world. You have to have current software on the tool. You have to have an internet connection. In the US, that's managed through AutoAuth. So you need to have a current AutoAuth account, which means it needs to be paid up, whatever your subscription fee is. And the tool needs to be registered with AutoAuth as well. So we'll talk more about that in a second. The tool also needs to be registered in your Snap-on account because that is the way out. So the data goes through the Snap-on account first, and then it goes to whoever it needs to unlock it. And in the case of FCA in the US, it's AutoAuth username and password needs to be registered in your Snap-on account. So that way it can log you in to AutoAuth and make that exchange. As far as Ford in the US, current software on the tool, an internet connection, and the tool needs to be registered in your Snap-on account. That is still required with that. And that is the same over in the UK too, by the way. Current software, internet connection, and your tool registered on your Snap-on. Now, when it comes to Nissan, I had a 2023 Nissan Sentra for a rental a couple weeks ago, and I tried to get into it, and I didn't think. I knew that Nissan had been putting it on some of their vehicles. It was kind of more of their higher end vehicles, I guess you'd say. Not a Nissan Sentra, right? That's kind of their base. Well, maybe it's not their base model, but it's not their best, right? So I figured I got this little Sentra. It doesn't even have an electronic parking brake or anything like that. Why would they do that? But yes, they do. So failed to start security link session. Make sure your account details and secure vehicle gateway settings in your profile manager. So it's going to give you an error code. Same thing again. There's another one. Authorization denied. Some diagnostic requests are locked by the vehicle manufacturer. Please make sure you completed all the steps required to unlock the gateway or continue without unlocking the vehicle. Because once again, you can continue and do some things. You just can't do everything. Ensure the scanner's been added to your Snap-on profile, OEM credentials, and restart. Also, on Nissan, this screen comes up as well. For vehicles that are unable to have the secure gateway unlocked, diagnostic test mode can be manually enabled. The diagnostic test mode will enable the scan tool to perform some additional functionality for many systems. Still not full functionality, but better than just not having it at all. So it's going to give you the instructions of what you need to do. And then it tells you, I'm not going to read through them. You can read through them yourself on the scan tool if you need to. And then it says you can go into the 8-channel CAN gateway, which is what they use as their gateway. And then it's going to have a PID there that you can check that would say unlocked. So in this case, I didn't go through that procedure. So it just says it's restricted. And that's how you can tell. So it's an actual separate module that CAN gateway 8-channel. But as I said, coming soon, possibly, hopefully, fingers crossed, very soon, Nissan's requirements that they're going to need. So current software on the tool, an internet connection, and an AutoAuth account. So this is how they do it in Europe. They use AutoAuth over in Europe for Nissan in order to do that. So they have to pay an account over there and have the tool registered and all that good stuff. As far as I've been told, and as far as I'm aware, this could change, as I said, but as far as I'm aware, they will be using AutoAuth in the US North America market. And also, as far as I'm aware, according to the information that I have on this day, November 7th, 2023, is that it will not cost an additional fee. Once again, that may change once everything gets turned on, who knows? But as far as we're hearing, as far as I know, as of right now, that'll be the same. So it's just going to be $50 a year for 5 tools in AutoAuth, and then you just got to turn on that additional manufacturer, Nissan in this case. And then coming further along, maybe a little bit later, it's going to be Volkswagen as well. And that is a totally separate way of doing things. And we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But the next one's going to be Nissan and then Volkswagen. I can let you know that at least, because I know you've seen it on the tool already. Because I've gotten questions and comments about it before over the past, 6 months to a year. So I know you're seeing it on the tool and you're like, well, what are we doing about this? We're ready on our end. We're just waiting on the manufacturers on their end to make sure everything gets straightened out. And then when they say, yep, you're good to go, we'll flip a switch and you'll be able to access those vehicles fairly instantaneously, right? It's just going to be updating the website real quick, which that's ready to go. We just got to, flip a switch basically. And then you would have to just go to the website, agree to whatever additional terms there are for that manufacturer, and you should be good to go with your scan tool. It'll be other than that one time you need to do, should be pretty seamless for you. So let's walk through some steps that we're going to take, including what we need on the tool, and then we'll walk through a few things on the websites, and that'll get you covered. So we'll pull up my Zeus here. All right, so the first thing you're going to need to do on a Snap-on tool, of course, this is all for Snap-on tools. If you got a different tool, I'm sure the procedure is going to be different. But as far as it is on our tools, you're either going to go into system settings or tools or setup, whatever it is, the gears on your homepage. A couple different ways we call it. And then you're going to go to, I'm going to back up on screen here. You're going to go to get connected, right? So it says get connected. Any of the tools will have this menu, any Wi-Fi connected tools anyway, that are updatable. So it's going to give you your serial number, your PIN, and your code. Now, one thing you need to remember, you do not want to leave this screen. Once this screen is up on your tool, don't leave the screen. And the reason being is every time I leave the screen, it's going to change. So this PIN starts with a 9 and this code starts with a 1. So if I back up and go back into get connected, now the PIN starts with a B and the code starts with an F. So it is randomly generated every time this screen comes up. Got to be on Wi-Fi or the screen won't come up either. That's another thing. So make sure your Wi-Fi is on before you go into the screen, otherwise it won't generate a code. And then when it does generate a code, don't leave the screen. You're going to need to add this in on your web browser. So there's two ways I could do it. If I'm not on a Zeus, or even if I am on a Zeus, I can open a web browser on my computer, laptop, whatever. Or if I am on a Zeus or a Zeus Plus, I can open my web browser on the tools. So notice I can just flip back and forth. I'm not closing this window. So I can go into my Snap-on account. Now, one easy way to go to your Snap-on account is going to be altusdrive.com, because that is the Snap-on account. So if you need to create an account, you can do it down here, or you can just log in. I already have an account, so I'll just log in. Now, there is another bit of confusion that happens sometimes between a shop account and a personal account or an individual account. So if you already have like ShopKey or Mitchell, you will have a shop account already, and some other things will give you a shop account too. So if you log in with those same credentials, it's going to say, oh, I can't add a tool because it needs to be tied to an individual. So you need to create a separate account for an individual in that case, or a technician account. So I'm going to log into my technician account here. And then it's going to show up with my uploads, right? So this is my Snap-on Cloud, my uploads here. And I want to go down here where it says profile. So it's going to load into my profile manager. So open profile manager. It's going to open another tab. And I'm going to have to reload it because it's not working for some reason. Of course it's not working. Why would it be working? Live classes, gotta love it. All right, try clearing your cookies. Let's do that. So let's see, clear your browsing data. I want to delete it all. Just let me delete it all. Okay. Stand by. Stand by 1 second. Settings. I don't know where it is off the top of my head. All right, just clear it. Clear it all. Clear it all. All right, try that again. All right. Okay, so we'll go into our browser and we'll go to altusdrive.com. And then we'll just log in right here. Okay, I'm going to log in with my individual account. And we'll see if that works. Okay. And then here's my uploads, right? Because I'm on Snap-on Cloud. And if we go down here on the bottom, we're going to have our profile. Open Profile Manager. And then we'll log in with the same credentials. And there we go. I'm already logged in once, so we'll just get rid of that. And here's my profile. All right. So we have device management, which is the first place we're going to need to go. So we got to make sure our device is registered in here. So you see I got a lot in there. I'm just going to go to add device. And then that's where you pull your serial number, your PIN, and your code off of this screen over here. So just punch that in and then give it a nickname so you can remember what it is, and then hit save. Once that's done, I also want to make sure my security link credentials are all set. So in this case, the only one we can do right now in North America is going to be FCA North America, and that is managed by AutoOp. So I can go in here. Now, the nice thing is we added links, so we can go in under auto auth, and it's going to pull it up, and then I can just log in like this. If you don't have an account, you can register an account. You can go to manage your tools, and then I wanted to add a tool here. I can just hit add tool. You can put manufacturers, of course, Snap-on in this case. So we'll go down to Snap-on. And then you'll see tool models. So all the scan tools are going to be all other models. And then TPMS models would be for like the TPMS 5, which has OBD2 capabilities. So you can actually register your TPMS 5 as well. There's some another code and stuff that you need to log in on the tool. So once I'm there, once I'm done there, I can save it. And then I can flip back over here. Now, if I needed to edit my credentials in here, it'll actually walk you through it the first time if you don't have an account or you're not set up. So you put your username in there, your password, and then you just need to check off the box to agree to the license and then hit save. All right, and then it'll say your profile is updated, and then it'll be right here. So that means everything's good. And by the way, it double checks your username and password to make sure it's valid with auto auth before you save it. So you can't misenter it without it giving you an error. So that's a nice thing. Now, as far as over in the UK, it's managed a little bit differently. So in this case, FCA International, so that'd be anywhere else, really. And that is actually managed by Stellantis. So it is not managed by AutoAuth over there. So in this case, you'd have to go to the Stellantis website and then add an account and all that. Just follow whatever instructions they would have over there. Also, Nissan Europe. So that's managed by AutoAuth as well. So since we're not in Europe in my case, we can add it, but it's not going to do anything. You'll notice down here we have Nissan North America. So that says coming soon. So once it's on, it'll just be a little plus sign right there. You add it. And then if your auto auth credentials are already in there, it'll combine them. You just have to check off the box to agree to the agreement for Nissan, and then you should be good to go. But if we wanted to learn more about it, though, you can go there. And it's going to open up the website. It's got snapon.com/gateway. And then it's going to tell you that many OEMs are starting to introduce secure gateway modules that restrict access, etc. Nissan is the latest manufacturer to release secure gateway to the aftermarket. Engineering teams have been working closely with Nissan to allow access to other diagnostic products, their secure gateway solution. Completed our portion of the work, and these enhancements are in the latest software bundle of 23.2. Now it's 23.4. So it's 6 months after this. At this time, we're just waiting on OEM manufacturer to activate their solution. So once it's released, customers with a Wi-Fi enabled product running current software have the ability to gain full access after updating the profile manager and auto auth for Nissan. Right. So in other words, we're ready and waiting for Nissan to activate this. So whenever that happens, which I hear is going to be soon, I just don't know when. So as of right now, as of today, we can't do it. But next time I do this class 5 weeks from now, that might be a different story. So stay tuned, I guess, would be the best bet. And then any other manufacturers that come online as we go, they would, of course, be added down here, and you would just be able to add them as you go. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to manage these different manufacturers and the different ways they're going to have you authorize the tool to work with their vehicles from here, right? From the profile manager. You have your tool registered once. It's going to have links to any of the manufacturers that you might need to go to if it's separate. And then in the case of like Nissan, like I said, it'll come in soon. Now, as far as our friends over in the UK, we also have added some payment processing for you, because I understand over there the payments are different, and it's been taking a long time, I guess, to get accounts set up and authorized and all that. So we've set up a portal over there. For those of you who want to use it, we can manage your payments to whoever they need to go, Stellantis and AutoAuth and whatever over there. And that, like I said, that is just for over in UK, Europe area. I'm not 100% spooled up on how it works because we don't use it over here. But you could always call tech support over there, and I'm sure they could help you out, walk you through whatever you might need to do. So that is secured vehicle gateways. Hopefully you are ready for the upcoming OEM security protocol. And with that, that is our time here today. So make sure you tune in for new diagnostic content every week. We will be premiering a new video every Wednesday at 7 p.m. UK time. So make sure you check it out. on the YouTube channel. If you're watching, well, of course, you would be watching this on YouTube, but make sure you subscribe, thumbs up, ring the little notification bell so you know anytime we post new content. And it's youtube.com/Snap-on Diagnostics UK. With that, time for questions. If you have any questions, just feel free. Once again, if you're watching this on a premiere, just leave it in the live chat and we'll answer those. Otherwise, leave a comment under the video and we will get to those as we monitor those comments as well. So I'd like to thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your day to learning a little bit more about how you might be able to be more efficient at diagnosing vehicles using some of the information that we've given you today. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Hopefully you can watch and see you on any of our other videos. Have a good week, have a good night, and take care.